Hey everybody, it's Nicole and I'm going to take you through some tips and modifications for the towel workout, warm up, and cool down. So you're always going to need 3 towels, 1 for the arms and warm up, and then 2 for the full body and floor. You want to make sure that you do this workout on a slick surface. If you can't do that, you can always use paper plates or furniture movers, but the best results will come by using a towel on a slick surface. So the first thing I want to go through with you today is when you take your towel and you do the warm up, you want to make sure that you're pulling the towel apart. This allows you to create your own resistance. We're not using weights, we're not at a gym, you're in your own home and you yourself are creating the resistance. So when I bring my arms down, I'm already squeezing my lats. I have my abdominals pulled in, my spine is lifted, and I feel the energy pulling out the top of my head. So we're just gonna take a couple up and down, squeezing the lats, pressing the shoulders down, long spine, long neck. Good. Every time we do a plie, you wanna make sure that your knees are bending right over your toes. Pressing, and lifting. Good. I do a lot of flat backs in this workout, so you wanna make sure that when you take a flat back, you're not arching and you're not curling, but you're thinking of extending past the head through your sacrum at the opposite way. So taking a flat back, let's try some plies. You want the heels in line with the knees. When we change the grip and we have the towel behind our back, the palms are down. You want to make sure that your arms are straight, your shoulders are rolled back, your abdominals are tight, and when you bend over, you're lifting, again, keeping that tension with the towel. Really pulling that towel apart with your fists, lifting up, creating your own resistance. Even when we come to the side angles, you want to make sure that you're facing that angle and the other way, dead on, coming down. All right, so we're down to the floor, and you want to make sure that your 2 towels are folded in a perfect square. You're going to place your balls of your feet over the towels, and you just want to check how slick your surface is. So when we draw the knees in and out for parallel runs, you want to make sure that your knees are drawing into the chest, your shoulders are over your wrists, and your abdominals are engaged. Anytime we take a twist of an angle or we're putting all of our weight onto one arm, you want to make sure that you're always starting from your center point, so you're always grounded. So the first move that we do is we twist our knees to one side. I start in my starting position with my knees bent over my toes. I come out, I check to see where I'm grounded, I squeeze my abdominals, and I bring my knees to the side and I lift up. Always coming back to center, coming up. Back to center, coming up. Even with the splits, I want to make sure that I start at center and I keep my weight in my palms. I first turn my knees to make sure that my hips are in line with my knees and my ankles. I twist, I extend, and then I come back. Twist, extend, come back. A lot of these moves are done in more than one part. For example, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5. The stronger that you get and the more that you work on these poses and these movements, the more fluid the movement gets. So first we have 1, 2, 3, 4. When you get strong, you can lift and make it very fluid. Lift, very fluid, and lift, very fluid. Another one that I want to go over are the circles, clockwise and counterclockwise. You want to make sure, again, that your weight is in your palms, and the legs are the ones doing the work. Your legs are going out and around, out and around. So you want to hike your hips up, going out and around and in. Out and around and in. When we reverse this move, our legs shoot straight back and they come around to the front into a kneeling stance. So I push out and around, out and around. Moving on to the walks and the dips. We're out in a plank. You always want to make sure that your hips are lifted, your core is engaged. When we walk, I never drop my lower back. You don't want this. You want to keep that back lifted. And when we transfer the weight, I travel over to the side. I never dip my hips past 90 degrees. I'm always up in line with my spine. When I do the dip, it's a small contraction into the one side that I'm working. It's not a release, it's just a slight tilt at the hips and then coming up. Other side, my hips are in line, I tilt it slightly, and I come up. All right, let's move on to the abs. You want to make sure that you have a cushion, something that's comfortable for your back. You don't want to lay on a hardwood floor. You want to make sure that you're comfortable on a mat. You want to lift. Grab your towel again with the first stance that we have, pulling the fists apart. You want to crunch up, always pulling those fists apart, creating tension in the towel. When we tilt, again, I'm looking in the direction that I'm tilting to. I never want to pull away or put a strain on my back. I want to continue the motion from my sacrum to my neck. Continue the motion. Continue the motion. When I roll up, I want to press through, come up to a flat back, roll through my spine, and come down. Again, roll, press up, roll, and down. If you can't do this again without the use of your hands, you can press up, come up, press, and come down. Press, come up, press, and come down. When we have the towel in between our feet, you want to squeeze those inner thighs and always keep your back protected. You never want to arch up. If you're arching, that means that you're not at that level just yet. So you can release that towel and try some heel slides on the floor, scooping out and down. We're working on increasing the strength of our lower back, our lower abs, and our spine. So first we want to start at the correct form. Once you feel comfortable, then you can add the towel, and then you can lift those heels off the floor. Whenever I tilt my hips, I want to make sure that I start at the starting position, and I tilt to one side, squeeze the towel, bringing the knees up. Bring it up and up. Other side, lift and lift and lift. The last part, when we're holding, I'm grounding myself, I'm extending my spine straight up to the ceiling, and I'm squeezing my abs. When I feel like I can let go, I push my shoulders down and hold at tabletop with a breath. If you can't do that just yet when you start, you can tilt back into your spine and test by lifting up your feet off the ground. And lift, and lift, and lift. Good. So when we get to the cool down, we do a lot of quad work, a lot of lat work in this workout. We want to first stretch forward and make sure that our toes are pointed, our legs extend. If you have tight hamstrings and you can't fully extend your legs, it's okay. We can have a slight bend in our knees. You want to make sure that you always pull up and out of the spine and come forward. You want to work to slowly drag those heels out further and further and further, rolling up again. Reach. Push those heels out along the floor, slide further and further and further, and roll up. When we come to the second stance of splits, we're stretching the inner thigh and the back of our hamstrings. You can go ahead and draw that one foot into the other so that your knee is in alignment, and you can focus on stretching one side of the hip. We will reach side, and when we do the flex, you want to turn toward that hip and flex over that hip. You can use your hands to allow you to stretch even further and come up. Other side, with a pointed foot, we stretch, come up, with a flexed foot, rolling over. When we do the quad stretch, you want to make sure that your knee is in line with your heel, and when we press forward, that we're not having the knee going over the toe, but you want to press, focusing on stretching the back leg down. So we're not focusing on stretching this, we're focusing on stretching this hip flexor, pushing this quad and hip flexor forward, knee in line with the hip. When you feel comfortable and you can let go of this grip, you can reach the arms up, press through, and pull forward. Good, and last thing I want to say is that when we take that flat back forward, you want to try as much as possible to press those heels down into the ground, pressing and treading to stretch out the back of those legs. Rolling up slowly and coming to standing. All right, if you ever get confused or you're not sure what to do in the towel workout, it's always okay to stop and take a moment, put it on pause, gauge yourself, ground yourself like I've taught you. You want to make sure that you're doing everything correctly and that you're not pushing yourself past the limit of what you're not at that level to do yet. We're going to work towards that level of achieving all of the reps and getting you to the best condition that you can. So remember that, keep working, never give up, and I'll see you next time.